Yo, what it do, baby? It's your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Sixing, what up? I did a Michael Thomas video, obviously, with the cheddar that he got and the guap. And I knew a lot of you guys were going to hop in the chat. We're watching the NFL Network Top 100. They went over the top 10, and now they're going over the number one player. And obviously, I know a lot of you guys do not agree with the list. Some of you will agree with it. And I can go over a little bit of a Broncos and Falcons Hall of Fame game preview tomorrow. It's almost here. What it do, baby? So let me go over here and say what up to everybody. And we'll go over our top five as you guys comment below if you guys agree with the list or not. Six Ink, what up? Cooper. We'll go over the list, obviously. Movie gurus. I'm going to be at the game. No way. That's insane. I wish I could go to the Hall of Fame game. I know there's going to be a lot of backups. There'll be a few starters playing on the line. But I definitely wish I was going. I love football. Doesn't matter if it's preseason or not. Javon Wright, how is Patrick Mahomes number 4? Cooper said the same thing. I will go over the correct list, right? Not this list that's on NFL Network. So we can kind of get it right because obviously a lot of people are scratching their heads and losing their minds. Mahomes wins the MVP, and then you have him at number 4. So basically what you're saying is that the list for the NFL players that they voted on doesn't mean anything. So we'll get it right. We'll get it straightened out. Nick the Gamer 5568, Mahomes only got number 4. I know we're all watching right now. Michael Pierpont, hey, what to do, my guy? Go Rams for life. I think we that love Aaron Donald. Let's see here. Mr. Tube, hey, bro. Kid Ed KD, what it do, my guy? I wasn't able to get the carry on Johnson out just yet, because I had to get that Michael Thomas video out there for the fan base just because, he got the money finally. But we're going to go over everything with the list, and we'll do a little Bronco Falcon Hall of Fame preview too. Probably will be streaming for about an hour or so. Just wanted to kind of say what up to everybody to get you kind of ready for tomorrow. And then if you guys didn't get a chance to see the Michael Thomas video, take a quick look at it. It's not too long. It'll get you juiced up and get ready for football. I'm not sure if your guys' notifications are working or not. I've had a few issues with some of the fan base saying that I don't know if someone hacked some of the people's channels and turned the notifications off, and they couldn't manage them and turn them back on unless they unsubscribed and subscribed. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube, or if there's a hacker and there's a hater, against our channel. But if everything's on your guys' end is good with the notifications, Noti Squad, then we'll be all good. Mahomes, 6 Ink. I got to keep everything real. I thought Mahomes would be number 1. Well, I'll go over my list, the correct list, right? The Sport Fanatic list. Right? Let's see here. What up, bro? What up, Tony? Damon. P. Aqua. Dio. Fly, Eagles, fly. What to do, my guy? Man, I had a nice little list, too, that I was probably going to go into about guys in camp that I've been impressed with. I've been watching a lot of tape, a lot of film, and I can kind of go over my list. I think the list that I did my research on is in the other room, so I won't grab it at this moment. But maybe I'll have my girlfriend go grab it for me while she's getting some food out of the kitchen, and then we'll go over our list. Let's see here. Kid Ed, Katie, I'm so anxious for this season to start. I am too. Mahomes has better season than Breeze. Well, Breeze had a lot of good things there in the season. So can you go in my bag, right in the front pocket? I got a note card with some research that I did. Could you grab that for me? Thank you. All right. I'm on the grind at work, you know what I mean? Like when I'm at work, I'm supposed to be working. I'm supposed to be, focused on doing my job. But obviously this is the dream job, YouTube, right? So I'm researching, I'm grinding all day long. I'm multitasking, but I got some names to kind of, be ready for because I've been watching a lot of the film and reading a lot of the articles about certain players that you would expect that are breaking out in camp, like Odell Beckham Jr., and then also players that you wouldn't expect maybe to break out. The girlfriend comes through with the list. I got it right here. We got some names, so we'll go over that. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Love you. But yeah, this list right here on NFL Network is Booty-O's, as New Day would say. Booty-O's! You didn't get it right. Way to let the fans down as we're going into the Hall of Fame game where you can't even, get the top 5 right. So I'll get it right for you guys, and you guys can comment below. And we'll get it right together. Hunter Canterbury, Marshawn Lattimore has allowed 2 TDs in 2 years, and you're telling me there are 100 players better than him? Get out of here! I know, right? It's crazy. Do you guys in the chat think Saquon Barkley should be above Zeke? In my opinion, no. And I don't have a bias against the Dallas Cowboys or the Patriots. But if you lead the league in rushing 2 out of 3 years. Is Zeke a knucklehead? Yeah. Saquon needs to be able to learn how to be able to, catch out of the backfield like AK-41, Alvin Kamara, run CMC, and Zeke. Zeke is very valuable. And the reason that I say Zeke is more valuable than Saquon at this point in his career, because it's early. Zeke has proven himself and done it, right? Year in and year out. Saquon's just on the beginning stages of his career. Is Saquon a beast? Saquon's amazing player, right? He's going to get more opportunities, especially with all those wide receivers going down with the injuries, right? So we know that he's going to be able to take his stat line to the next level. But the thing is with Zeke, right, if you pay Zeke, right, and you don't pay Dak Prescott, for example, right, how many wins is the Dallas Cowboys going to get? It's debatable, right? If you pay Dak and you don't pay Zeke, how many wins are you going to get? So you got to kind of look at that kind of scenario. And plus, like I said, with Zeke can pretty much do it all. He just needs to be a better guy off the field. And to me, I mean, you could definitely argue with Zeke, run CMC, AK-41, Todd Gurley when healthy, Le'Veon Bell, right? You could argue Zeke is the best running back in the league. You could argue that and not be like a Dallas Cowboy fan, like a fanboy, and say, oh, Zeke, right? But he does a lot of great things that are on the field that people admire. And like I said, if you watched him at Ohio State where Michael Thomas went, these Ohio State guys, they know how to ball. That's just big facts. But I don't have Saquon that far behind, but I would have Zeke as the better running back at this point. Can Saquon get to a point where he's better? Absolutely. But it's just, we got to wait and see. How do you feel about the Panthers signing Trey Boston? I thought that was interesting. There's certain guys that are still floating around, so you kind of have to wait and see where where the fit is, for each team. But I have a few things that I'm going to go over, and I'll be able to get in everyone's questions here. So I want to scroll down quickly. Breeze is way better player than Mahomes, to keep it real. It depends on what you're saying, a way better player. If you saw last season, Mahomes had the better year, right? I love Drew Brees. I love the New Orleans Saints, right? He obviously started off very strong, played the Dallas Cowboys, right? And then he kind of hit the wall, and then he started throwing a lot of picks. The defenses got a little tighter, right? Mahomes, no one expected his arm to be like that. You threw for 50 touchdowns, right? You threw for 5,000 yards. Right? So this list right now for the NFL top 100 players, right? If Patrick Mahomes isn't number one, the only person that you could have ahead of him is Aaron Donald, based off his sacks that he got. If you got 20-some sacks at the D-tackle position, that's unheard of. That's the only person that you could have a legitimate argument with anybody right now. And convincing a Chiefs fan that he got MVP and he's not number one, and then even if he's at number 2, Chiefs fans and other people are upset. You know what I mean? You have him at 4? Really? I mean, come on now. I mean, give some credibility to NFL Network a little bit. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. And the list isn't accurate. The players vote, and they usually choose their favorite guys. And there's good guys off the field. Obviously, Drew Brees is one of the most likable, honorable, good guys on and off the field. You know what I mean? But Patrick Mahomes, let's be real. If Drew Brees had the better season overall from beginning to end, right? Why didn't Drew Brees win the MVP last year? Because he didn't have the better season. Patrick Mahomes did. Let's be real. 50 touchdowns, 5,000 yards. He got the MVP award. They don't just hand the MVP award just to anybody. So it is what it is. Mr. Nguyen. What to do, my guy? Saints fans should be happy now. Let's see. Movie Gurus, you are obviously biased. Breeze at 36 years old. He's not 36. He's 39 last year, 40. But you got to give him a couple more years. See, you got to make sure you get the facts right. Movie Guru, I got you. And I thank you for the donation for the $1. Appreciate that. He's breaking records. Mahomes is only this good because of Andy Reid, the quarterback god. I know because I'm an Eagles fan. Well, he obviously is, someone that develops QBs. He develops offenses. You can plug and play running backs. We've seen what Damian Williams could do. But you can't tell me that Patrick Mahomes couldn't go to another team with that laser arm. I have never, ever seen anyone zip the ball like that, and I've been watching football since 1985, okay? There is no one. The only person that zipped the ball like that maybe is Dan Marino back in his prime at Pitt and then on the Dolphins. Let's be real. No one throws the ball like that, sidearm, over the top, 3/4. Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. He's the next superstar in this league. He's going to be probably the face of the NFL for quite some time. And if you're telling me that you don't think that Patrick Mahomes could go somewhere else and dominate like that, you're kidding yourself. Patrick Mahomes is the real deal. He can do everything. I mean, he proved it. Think about it. He sits behind Alex Smith for a year. Did anyone in their sane mind really think that he would throw for more than even maybe 30? Not likely. Then he did 40, and then we're talking 50, and it's not like he threw for 25 interceptions. I believe he had like 12 or less, 50 and 12. Come on. Give credit where credit's due. Even if you're, a Saints guy, an Eagles guy, you know what I mean? A lot of times you guys get in this mode where you're defending your teams and your guys, you know what I mean? Sometimes you got to be like the Northwest Sports Fanatics and give credit where credit's due. Mahomes is the best quarterback playing right now. Watch him in camp. Watch what he does. You still have guys that are veterans like Tom Brady and Drew Brees and Rodgers and Big Ben and all these other guys. They're great, right? But Patrick Mahomes is on another wave, okay? He's taking the big kahuna wave and, in Hawaii out there. He's surfing at the top. Everyone else is a few levels below, and that's just my big opinion. That's a hot take for you. But, everyone's going to have their opinion. Let's see here. Damon P. Aquadio. Michael Thomas got paid. Now Dallas will have to pay Amari more and Julio more. But Michael Thomas deserves more money than them, and that's big facts. He made Vic an actually good passer. Vic was a good passer, Movie Guru. I don't know if you're trolling right now, right, just to get like reactions from the rest of the people in the room. But Michael Vick, I watched every single college game of Michael Vick at Virginia Tech. To tell the fan base or the sport fanatics in the chat, or to me personally, that he wasn't a good passer. Have you ever watched Michael Vick? Have you ever watched any of the highlights when he was at Virginia Tech? He had one of the smoothest balls for a lefty, period. So I'm not sure if you're trolling right now or not, but Vick was not a one-hit wonder, right? Mahomes is not a one-hit wonder. The Kansas City Chiefs are going to win a Super Bowl sooner than later, especially when they improve that defense. You're not going to be able to stop Patrick Mahomes, and that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? They get better and better. Andy Reid will end up getting his ring, and that's big facts. Mahomes won MVP. McNabb never got that. And comparing Mahomes and McNabb is different. They're different types of quarterbacks, but, this is a passing league now. It's a little different. But, it is what it is. I mean, for someone like me that watches, 6 to 8 hours of tape every day and reads 6 hours a day on all the teams, you know what I mean? I'm not right all the time, but, to say that like Michael Vick isn't like wasn't a pure passer, you know what I mean? Look at the Atlanta Falcon tape. Look at what he did at Virginia Tech. I mean, besides for me, the most exciting college football quarterback in the last 20 years to me, besides Michael Vick, might have been Johnny Football. And when he was playing against Alabama and he was winning those games, that was like must-see TV for me and Marcus. Like we would just be calling each other and be like, "Are you watching Michael Vick? Are you watching Johnny Football?" Because they were special. And sometimes guys don't cap out fully like Johnny Football in the NFL. But we'll go over the list, and you guys will get the correct one from me. Let's see here. For me, the top 100 is more of here are the 100 great players that will have another great or better season next, and then actually ranking them, just my opinion. Yeah, you know what I mean? It just depends on, what you're feeling. Let's see. McNabb never had a Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, and Kareem Hunt. But you're like, see, the thing is McNabb obviously had T.O. They had a great defense. You know what I mean? You got to look at it. Football isn't just a one-man sport. It's team. It's the best and biggest team sport. It's like if you run a play on offense, right, and you got 11 guys on the field. right? And if 10 guys are running the play and the one guy that's not, the play's not going to work. You know what I mean? So you have to realize that it's not just one guy. It's never been one guy. One guy might get the glory when things go good, like the quarterback, but he's also going to get, the criticism when things don't go right. NBA is 5-on-5. You're taking the double amount of the players. It's different. You know what I mean? You have to realize that. But, Mahomes is not a one-hit wonder. Andy Reid is not a one-hit wonder. Has Andy Reid's time management been shitty in the past? Yeah. Right? Has he got out-coached in the past? Yeah. Right? But still, as far as consistency and well-respected and a guy that makes people better and is that a guru on offense, he is one of those. You know what I mean? And they just didn't have a good defense last year, and they were a coin flip away from going to the Super Bowl. And guess what? They would have won the Super Bowl if they would have got there against the Rams. And that's big facts. Todd Gurley was not healthy. They would have won. You know what I mean? It's just my personal opinion. So, which are all the top 10s in their positions? Let's see. I don't know if you know, but Hunt got cut. Cooper, let him know. Sidearms aren't that spectacular, and no looks are idiotic. They are cool, but coaches hate that. Yeah, and tell that to people that can't do it. You know what I mean? It's not like you're trying to necessarily show off. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of certain guys can do certain things with the football, and other guys can't. The things that Patrick Mahomes does on the field, right, other guys can't do, period. You know what I mean? You got to understand certain guys. Matt Ryan cannot do some of the things that Patrick Mahomes is doing right now. You know what I mean? Like every quarterback is on a different level of things that they're good at. Some guys are better in the pocket. Some guys have better footwork. Some guys have better eye manipulation when they're getting receivers open. Some guys, can get guys open better, like Drew Brees, when guys are covered, and throw them open. Everyone has something that they're better at. But Mahomes is the truth. And if you don't think so, then you don't know football. Sorry. Let's see here. So McNabb was considered one of the best QBs in the NFL for most of his career. That's big facts. It was unfortunately, wasn't an era with Peyton, Brady, Culpepper, McNair, Ben. And then the thing is also too, it's like you got to think on who you were playing, in that time period too. When they were making their runs from 2000 to 2004, 99 to 2004, the Bucks were good. They had a couple good teams. The Rams were good. The greatest show on turf. You know what I mean? There was a lot of teams in there. Patriots with Brady in that era. So it's not like it was easy. And some of the teams they played, even with my Buccaneers, and when I ended up going to the Super Bowl that year, that was one of the top 3 defenses, arguably, that the league has ever seen. That particular year, you got the '85 Bears, you got the 2000 Ravens with Ray Lewis, his first ring, and that 2002 Buck team. Not to be a homer, but that team was awesome. I mean, if you don't think it was, you didn't watch the tape. I mean, you don't get 5 interceptions on Rich Gannon, the NFL MVP that year, and run 3 of them back for pick sixes, and you score more points on defense than they score on offense, and they have Jerry Rice, on the team. The defense was stacked. Simeon, Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, John Lynch, Rondé Barber. I mean, should I go on? Allstott on the other side. It's just one of those things. NFL talking about Zeke being traded to the Packers. I wouldn't be surprised if Odell can be traded. Well, the Giants organization was just, they're just, they don't really know what they're doing. So, I mean, and you don't want to have a disgruntled player there, if they're not going to be able to treat people right. Let's see here. Peterman wasn't number 1. This list is a joke. I know I've seen that troll one of the Nathan Peterman list. Let's see here. Expect Mahomes to be very good for a very long time, even after Reid is gone. That's big facts. He's not like Kolb or Feely, exactly. He was pro-ready when he entered the league. He was probably the most NFL-ready quarterback when he came in. He had that laser arm, sat behind Alex Smith, just like Aaron Rodgers did with Brett Favre, learning from someone that knows the game, and then obviously with the players that they have, they made history last year. It was great. I mean, it's good for the league. Do you think that the Cowboys waited too long to sign Zeke, Dak, and Amari? I mean, you're not going to be able to get all 3 contracts done back to back to back. That's big facts. You know what I mean? It's impossible. You got to pick and choose who you want to pay. If you pay Zeke, right, and Dak is disgruntled, or Amari, you know what I mean? The thing is, if Dak is underneath the center, right, with no Dak, at all. And how do I put this? So if Zeke isn't on the roster, Dak can probably get the Cowboys at the very most about maybe 8 or 9 wins, right? But if Zeke is in the lineup and Dak isn't, you're probably looking at a 5-win team. So even though that Zeke is a better player, Dak touches the ball every snap. So even though, you don't want to pay him that big money, the 25 to 30 million, right? But if someone touches the ball that often, you know what I mean? If Dak goes down with an injury or he, doesn't get the money and he holds out, your team goes from a 10-6, possible wild card team in the NFC to literally a bottom feeder like a 4 or 5 win team. Because name the Cowboys' backup quarterback. Not many can. So Breeze is great, but Mahomes had the better season. And that's big facts. I hate when people seriously believe Mahomes will be a fluke just because he had a big season. And to be honest, and I'm saying this right now, Damon P. Aqua Dio, and this is going to be a hot take. A lot of people think that his numbers are going to go way, way down this season. I wouldn't be surprised if his numbers go up. Yeah, I said it. I think his numbers could go up. I think he could throw for more than 50. Would it be something that we've seen before? No. But no one thought that he would throw for 50, right? And 12 interceptions and over 5,000 yards. How many more yards could he get? That's debatable. You know what I mean? Maybe 100 or 200 more. But I could definitely see him getting a couple more touchdowns and a few hundred more yards. He's getting more comfortable in the offense. The defense has gotten better, so he's going to be more well-rested on the sideline. You got Honey Badger on the back end, Frank Clark. The team looks better. They're deeper this season. They didn't really lose a whole lot of pieces besides D Ford. It's one of those things that, you have to be a football evaluator. You have to be able to know what you're seeing, and you can't be a homer. You know what I mean? And just, Breeze is not the best quarterback in football. Last year, he was not the best quarterback in football. It was Patrick Mahomes. That's big facts. Let's see here. So many comments. So much time. Let's see here. So I'm going to scroll through because your guys' comments are just going through so much. Yo, just got Madden 20 ready for football. The bromance is real. Hellord 247. Damon P. Aqua Dio. Let's see here. Where do you rank Donovan McNabb all time for QBs? Damon, that's a good question. All time. I have a lot of respect for Donovan McNabb. Obviously, when he went to the Redskins after, a lot of people kind of criticized him and, said, kind of nasty things about him. And then he got in the news and was kind of chirping about Carson Wentz and maybe he's not the right leader when they had the competition for maybe it was going to be Foles or Carson Wentz. But I would say all time, is he top 5? No. Is he top 10? No. But all time, as far as career, probably somewhere 15 through 30, out of every single quarterback that's ever suited up ever. Somewhere in that range. Because he had a lot of great seasons. If T.O. didn't, get injured, in 2004, there was a great chance that I think that they would have won that Super Bowl. They had plenty of pieces there. Brian Dawkins, the defense was amazing. Offense had some pieces, but Donovan made a lot of those pieces better. Besides T.O. T.O. was already good, and was kind of that piece to get him over the top. But a lot of the receivers weren't really big names. Donovan is kind of an underrated quarterback of all time. People like to criticize, but, you got to see what the Eagle organization really did at that point. But let me get into the list, and I know there's a lot of people, John Roberts, what I do, my guy. So let's go into the list real quick. So we had the list. So we saw it. So NFL Network. So number 5, I believe, was Todd Gurley. They had number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Right. Number 3, Khalil Mack. Number 2, Drew Brees. Number 1, Aaron Donald. My list and how I see it, number 1, Patrick Mahomes. And that's big facts. You got the MVP. You played great. You were a coin flip away from going to the Super Bowl. And in my opinion, you would have won it. Was the defense for Kansas City one of the worst that we've ever seen ever? Yes. Right? But that offense was something that couldn't be stopped. Even with Aaron Donald and that Rams defense, would have the Chiefs scored 50 points on the Rams in the Super Bowl? No, of course not. The game would probably have been in the 20s to 30s, right? Because the Rams defense is that damn good. But at some point they would have got gassed, right? And Mahomes would have been able to make enough plays. And since Gurley wasn't healthy, that was really the big X factor in the game to me. Because Goff would have been able to score more points than he did against the Patriots, against the Chiefs. So it would have been higher scoring. But I think at that point, I would have trusted Mahomes more than Goff at that point going in. And that's my big facts. Number two, it has to be Aaron Donald. Based on the position that he plays, how many sacks that he got. I mean, I'm a Warren Sapp guy. Warren Sapp never got to 20 sacks. I mean, if you're talking about 20 sacks or more than 20 sacks, you're talking normally DN pass rusher, right, or linebacker, not D tackle. We've never seen this before, period, right? So that's number two, okay? So if you come at me if you want, but I mean, you got to see what the players did last year. If you want to argue Aaron Donald 1 and then Mahomes 2, you can go that argument. But for me personally, and think about this, I'm a defensive guy. So if I'm a defensive guy first and then offense second, and I'm saying Patrick Mahomes 1, say that shows my credibility that I'm really giving credit where credit's due, even though I like defense and I love what Aaron Donald did. Patrick Mahomes, number 1. Aaron Donald, number 2. Okay? Number 3, Khalil Mack. All right? Defense. They say defense wins championships. Defense wins championships when defense scores points. All right? That's big facts. You got to be able to stop guys on third down. But when defensive teams and defensive studs get points, that's when you win. Big facts, okay? Number 4, probably I would go Drew Brees, Or you could argue, Todd Gurley up to that point before he got injured. You could flip-flop those guys because they had Brady, I believe, at 6. So, I mean, just based on the seasons. Brady played great up into that Cowboy game and then kind of slid back a little bit, struggled, but still had an amazing season. Don't get me wrong. But I'd probably go Drew Brees 4 and then Todd Gurley 5 and then, Brady at 6. But getting Mahomes at number 1, Donald at 2, and the only other way that you can convince me is you go Donald 1, Mahomes 2, if you want to go for statistics that were just fucking amazing on both sides of the ball. But if someone got the MVP, right? If Aaron Donald would have got it, then it's kind of unanimous. Then you're probably going to go Aaron Donald. He got the MVP. He got the big number at sacks, right? But he didn't. Patrick Mahomes did. So I don't know about, these Denver Raiders, right? Chargers. And these fans typically in the division aren't going to hate that much. Or other teams that are in the division or whatever it is. If you got hate against Andy Reid or whatever it may be. But that's the list. You guys can comment below if you agree with me or not, right? But, you can troll, right? You can hot take, you know what I mean? But if you're going to come at me with facts, stats, you know what I mean? You better be knowing really your research and know what you're talking about because I can compete with anybody. You put me on ESPN, you put me on Fox Sports, you put me on Vice Channel, you put me on the radio. I can compete with anybody. No one works harder than me, okay? And that's big facts. But I want to go over a list of guys that are generating the most buzz in training camp, and some of you guys that are in the room right now are fans of these guys. So I want to make sure that I've been watching tape. You guys send me stuff on Twitter. You guys send me stuff, right? I look at it. I do my research. I watch the tape, and I want to go over guys that are having amazing camps that are going to be better NFL players going into this season than you think, okay? And these are not in any specific order, okay? Number 1. I watched tape of Kyler Murray, all right? I want to be able to see what this number 1 pick can do, right? Is the offensive line still kind of shaky? Yeah, right? Is David Johnson going to get back to more of an MVP form? I believe he'll be better, than he was last season. I don't know how great he'll play if he can make it through a full season. Larry Fitz is older. The defense is a little shaky. But I'll tell you one thing. If you think Kyler Murray is going to be a shitty football player, you're out of your mind. I seen him drop some dimes in practice and training camp that really impressed me on the run. He definitely has a little bit of that Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Drew Brees in him, okay? I don't know how many games that they're going to win. They may start off slow and win somewhere between 3 and 7 games. But this guy is the truth, and he is going to take the league by storm. They're going to lose a lot of games, but there's going to be some games where he really shows out. and shows you how great of a quarterback he really is. And then as we get into year 2, he's really going to start opening some eyes. But I saw some throws, and I've been doing my research. Kyler Murray is better than I anticipated him being at this point. I mean, he hasn't taken an NFL snap yet. I know, right? But what I've seen against the number ones on defense, and him being able to go through his progressions, his eye manipulation, his footwork, his arm is the most impressive thing that I've seen. You see Mahomes, the first thing that you notice is that zip on the ball, the arm. Kyler Murray's got the arm. He's got the cannon. Like Josh Allen on the Bills, he's got a cannon. Kyler Murray's got a cannon for a little guy. All right? So you got to be able to see the proper evaluation, and like J Hoffa 22, trust your eyes, bro. The old saying, you got to trust your eyes. You know what I mean? On what you're seeing. You just can't be delusional. Don't be a homer. Don't be a delusional fan, okay? Another one, going on the defensive side. This guy's already one of my favorite safeties in the league, not named Derwin James. His name is Jamal Adams. This guy is going to start taking the league over by storm, okay? Ed Reed, Troy Polamalu, right? Now we got Derwin James and Jamal Adams. This guy's going to take his game to the next level, right? To me, he's a lot of potential for the Jets defense, especially adding C.J. Mosley there. But from what I've seen in camp, he's in better shape. He's motivated. He's going to make that team better. And I wouldn't be shocked if the Jets make the playoffs this season. And that's big facts. I really think with Le'Veon Bell on the offensive end, with his leadership, right, and people kind of following his lead. Yeah, he sat out, you know what I mean, and some people called him immature. He was trying to get his money, so he was trying to do what was best for him. But as far as moving forward, Le'Veon Bell can win the rushing title this year. That's big facts. I got to see how healthy he is, how in shape he is by like week 3. But if it's week 3 and he's already at 5 touchdowns and like 500 or 600 yards, you better believe he's going for that rushing title. And I like defense, right? Jamal Adams is a baller, all right? There's not going to be very many guys that are on his level besides Derwin James as far as up-and-coming young safeties or guys in the secondary position. So look for Jamal Adams to keep showing out like he did last year and get better. The guy that's probably impressing me the most, right, is probably right now the guy that you would probably expect, I would say. Baker Mayfield, right? We know how he gets criticized. If you watch the tape on Baker, he's better, right, on tape than all the people are trash-talking him. I was thinking before, what kind of Browns team are we going to get? Is Odell Beckham overrated? Is Baker Mayfield is good? Do I like Kitchens? I'm not really sold on him. What about the defense? I'm going to say it right now. The Cleveland Browns are making the playoffs this season. I said it. The Cleveland Browns are going to make the playoffs this season. I think Baltimore and Cincinnati's already scaling back. They already are the bottom feeder looking up, right? A.J. Green's hurt for the first few weeks. They're scaling back, right? Baltimore losing C.J. Mosley is going to be devastating, right? You got Mark Ingram, but the weapons on offense are a little thing. You got Mark Andrews. You got Hollywood Brown, but I just don't really trust Lamar Jackson that much moving forward. Big Ben will be able to get them more than likely to the playoffs, but depending on how good Baker, Odell, and the defense plays, it wouldn't surprise me, based on the tape I've been watching and reading the articles and following closely with Cleveland, right? They could go 11-5 this year, best case scenario. Worst case scenario, maybe 9. 9-7. You know what I mean? But it's going to be between them and Pittsburgh. But I can confidently say Cleveland Browns are making the playoffs this season. And I know a lot of people are like, no, overrated. They're paper guys. Odell Beckham Jr. right now, out of all the players that I've seen in camp, right, playing they have the 5-on-5 drill, 6-on-6, 7-on-7, 11-on-11. He looks right now, as far as the tape that I've seen on camp, probably the best out of any wide receiver that I've seen in camp, out of all the teams that I've looked at. Every single team I go to their training camp, I look at all the things that are on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, NFL Network. Odell's making plays like he did for the Giants, but there's something different this year about him. Jarvis Landry's stats may slide a little bit. Odell will get double teamed with safeties over the top. But with Baker and him, they are going to be able to single-handedly win probably 4 games out of their 9-11 just based on how great they play together. The chemistry is real. The grabs are getting better and better. And if you thought you saw the best of Odell on the Giants, you have no idea. Some of the routes that I was seeing and some of the progressions that I was seeing with Baker, they are going to the playoffs this season. The only way they're not if Baker goes down with an injury. And that's big facts. The defense is going to have to really prove it to the rest of the NFL fan base that they can do it, right? Ward, Myles Garrett, they need other pieces to step up, but the offense is going to be good, and they'll be battling Pittsburgh for first place. And that's my personal opinion. Pittsburgh is probably going to be the division winner, but I could see Cleveland nipping at their heels. And then sooner than later, Cleveland will be the best team in that division if they get the right coaching in place and they keep adding pieces. But I really do think that the Browns have something special. I've been really impressed with Odell. I'm kind of critical of Odell. I haven't had him really as like top 5 wide receiver. I have him usually 6 to 10. I'm critical of him, right? But based on what I've been seeing, he looks good. No. He looks great. So I think Baker and him, like I said, I've been real critical of Baker as well. But seeing his throws and watching the tape of the reaction video I did from him about a week ago on some of the dimes that he throws right in the breadbasket and what he's doing right now and how much time and effort he's going with the playbook, he's going to take the next step this year. He ain't going to go backwards. They're going forwards. And like I said, this is going to be a nice thing for the bottom feeder teams that we're used to seeing. I like him a lot, Baker Mayfield and Odell, moving forward. Another sleeper right now, Kalen Ballage, running back from the Dolphins. I don't know what kind of cereal Kalen Ballage is eating. I don't know what's going on there in Miami. I know they fired one of their coaches already because obviously had the Patriots, assistant get the job, and there's a lot of turmoil, and they think that they're going to be the worst team in the league. Are they tanking for Tua? It's like hashtag tank for Tua. It's like already going around in Miami, right? But they got some guys that are starting to kind of show out and make a name for themselves. Look for Kalen Ballage to be a sleeper running back. He looks good. I don't know, like I said, I don't know what kind of cereal he eats. If he's eating the Bootios for the New Day cereal, if he's getting his Wheaties, I don't know what's going on. But he looks like a totally new player, a different player, a guy that's really committed himself in the off season. He looks great. So look for him to really step up. I mean, is the Miami Dolphins going to be the worst team in the league? I believe so. I think they're going to only win a couple games. But with that being said, it depends on who they start. If Josh Rosen starts, right, you're looking at 1 to probably 4 wins at the most, right? So if you want to tank, you put Josh Rosen in from the beginning. If you put Ryan Fitzmagic in, you're probably going to win closer from 4 to 7 games. So depending on how important it is to you to tank to get the number 1 pick, if it's not that big of a deal and you go 5-11 and you're like the 4th pick and you trade up and you trade some assets away, fine. But if Fitzmagic starts week 1 and plays half of the season at least, they're going to probably get somewhere between 4 to 7 if you want to tank. Rosen week 1, you're going to go 4 games or less, and that's big facts. Next player that I've really been impressed with, fly, Eagles fly. Damon P. Aqua, Dio. I know you've been seeing him in camp. I know I've been doing the research. I've been following him very closely. The player that I'm talking about that I've been really impressed with on Eagles camp, Deshaun Jackson. D-Jax. D-Jax looks motivated. D-Jax is in better shape right now than I've seen him in a couple years. His motor going past 10 yards looks like and reminds me of the old D-Jax, right? The burner. With Carson Wentz staying healthy all season long, the chemistry that they're going to have, there's going to be a great chance that both of those guys are going to connect for at least 8 touchdowns this season. And there's going to be a couple long balls, probably 50 yards plus, that they're going to connect on. But D-Jax is working really hard. He knows he's a kind of an older vet now. He can kind of mentor some of the other guys. Alshon Jeffrey on one side, D-Jax on the other, Goddard. Right? So bad it hurts Zach Ertz. And then sleepers like J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Baller from Stanford, okay? But lots of weapons. But D-Jax looks great. Another one, Jelani Tavai, linebacker from the Lions. So a lot of people are kind of sleeping on the Lions. We don't really know how good they're going to be. They're probably more than likely going to be the worst team, right, in the NFC North. But he looks good. I was kind of impressed because I like to look at every level of every player. Linebackers, safeties, corners, guards, tackles, D-tackles, D-ends. I don't care what it is. I'm looking everywhere. But Jelani Tavai, linebacker for the Lions, keep an eye on him. He's really going to start to make a name for himself moving forward. I like what I see. And then I got a few people in here. Javon Wright. All right, I'm telling you right now. I looked at Panthers camp. I looked at the players. The number 1 player in Panthers camp right now, the guy that's showing out and looking the best, Curtis Samuel. Now, when I watch him, he looks like he has a little bit of a rebirth right now in his career. He knows that Cam isn't 100%. But the routes that I've seen him run, Curtis Samuel, the way that he gets himself open, goes up and gets it, right? Uses his hands, uses his body to block off the D-backs, the DBs. I'm impressed. He looks very good. You know, he's going to have a great season. You know what I mean? I've seen him work harder and harder in each camp and each practice. I really like what he's doing. Another one is Mark Andrews, tight end for the Ravens. If they're going to be successful and make the playoffs with Lamar Jackson, he's going to have an excellent year, and he's probably going to have, right, close to 10 touchdowns for them to compete. You know, realistically, he's more of like a 5 to 6 kind of guy. But for them to take the next step and to win games against like Cleveland or like Pittsburgh, Mark Andrews is going to have a breakout year this year at tight end. And then last but not least, the lonely Giants. You know, do they even have anyone left besides Saquon Barkley? Right? They got a guy named Lorenzo Carter. I don't know if you guys know who that is. Right? Linebacker from the Giants. He's kind of showing out. So look out for those two guys, Lorenzo Carter and Jelani Tavai, right, from the Lions and the Giants. I love linebackers. You know what I mean? So you got to look for those guys to kind of break out. And then John Roberts right here is in the comment section. He's got a great point. Another guy I've been watching tape on, right? Devin Singletary. He's gonna be fun to watch, right? What about Montgomery at running back? That's another one of my sleepers. He's gonna start right away over Cohen. I think he's really gonna make a name for himself. Not really sold on the Bears offense, right? But I think that, you know, moving forward, you're going to be able to see something. See, Cooper, he said, yes, Mark Andrews, he was a beast at OU. He was. And if you notice in a lot of the games, like I like to watch old college tape as we're going into the NFL season to see how guys run routes, how they get open, how they use their hands, how they have separation, right? With Mark Andrews and Baker Mayfield, they had something there. So I'm hoping that connection that Baker had with Andrews, Baker can get that with Njoku, because Njoku needs to take that next step too. All right, and I know it's kind of a hot take with me saying the Browns are going to make the playoffs this year. Sometimes people are going to be like, yeah, I can see that. Other people are going to be skeptical and, you know, call the wide receiver duos of Landry and Beckham divas, right? You know, you can go that route. But also, too, the big reason that I think that they're going to be able to take the next step, you got a great quarterback, right? Your O-line is getting better each season. You got the best breakout running back that not a lot of people know about in Nick Chubb. You got two solid wide receivers, a nice tight end. Myles Garrett is one of the most up-and-coming, you know, D-line players. You got Ward, solid corner. So they got enough pieces where they're going in the right direction. They just can't have a major injury from Baker, you know, to derail that. But I like where it's going. And then as far as like the Broncos and the Falcons, a lot of backups are going to be playing, right? That's big facts. O-linemen will get a look. You know, when I go see the Broncos and Seahawks next week, I'm going to probably go live from my phone. You guys can kind of check out our seats when we're in the front fourth row, which will be sick. Try to get some merch. I think I might wear a Von Miller jersey for my buddy since he's a huge Bronco fan, because if I wear my Derek Brooks Bucks jersey or my hard hat or my gear, I'm not going to get any merch from any of the Broncos guys, right, for my buddy because he's kind of shy. But if I wear a Vaughn and he wears a Vaughn, you know, who knows? Maybe we can make something happen. Maybe I can get an armband or something from one of the players and give it to my buddy. But that's what friends do for each other. You know what I mean? I wouldn't do that for anybody else, but he's one of my best friends. So, you know, I'm definitely going to go outside the box, and I'm going to be a Bronco fan for one night. And then the next night, when we go see Edgar Martinez bobblehead night against the Rays, which will be exciting. The Mariners will get mollywopped, but hopefully I get another foul ball, and I'll get a sweet bobblehead to add to my Mariner bobblehead collection, which I'm ecstatic about. T.J. Hawkinson is going to be a big problem. I agree. He's going to be the next Gronk, in my opinion. I feel that he's going to be a top 5 tight end sooner than later. You know, they got plenty of pieces at tight end now. You know, Kelsey, Ertz, right? Kittle, Ebron, O.J. Howard. I think Hawkinson's going to be right there, right in that mix with that next tier with O.J. Howard, Ebron, Hawkinson. You know what I mean? It's going to give Stafford that guy that we thought Ebron was going to be for that team. He just had to go to Andrew Luck and turn his career around, change his scenery. But I really do like Hawkinson. And the thing about him that people don't know, he's a great blocker. If you get a guy that can block and catch, you know, Fant has some athleticism, which is another guy for the Broncos that I'm excited to see. I hope he gets some tape with Drew Lock, right, so we can watch him live. But Hawkinson, you know, he can do all the intangibles. Fant is a little bit more athletic, right? But Hawkinson's the better tight end. But both guys are going to show out for their teams, and I'm kind of excited. Iowa knows how to, develop tight ends. Ask Dallas Clark, if you remember who that is. Let's see here. NFC East, Mr. Tube. He's just going out with a prediction here. Cowboys 12-4. So I don't know if you're a Cowboys fan, but they're not going 12-4. Eagles 11-5, Redskins 6-10, Giants 5-11. I hate to burst your bubble there, but the Cowboys are not going 12-4. Look at Bills. John Roberts, Bills Mafia, 19-0, baby. So Eagles 11-5, right? If they can get the contract situation, the best the Cowboys are going to do is 10-6 this year, in my opinion. And then you got Redskins and Giants. Giants are going to win a few games, a couple, maybe 3 or 4. And then Redskins are going to be somewhere into that 5-7 range, But I don't think the Cowboys are going to be better. And teams in the NFC East, Mr. Tube, do not win the division 2 years in a row. Go back and look at the history in the last 10 years and show me a team that's won it back-to-back. Show me. It hasn't happened. So if the Cowboys won it last year, they're not winning it this year. And the Eagles roster is better, and that's big facts. Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. That's big facts. The Eagles don't have drama right now in their organization with contracts and money. That's big facts. Their running backs, 6 running backs, right, are chilling, working hard, right? Where's Zeke? He's in Cabo. Not a good look, right? Still think Dallas can be a great team. They got an awesome defense. They got awesome players. The O-line is good, right? But the bottom line is you're not beating the Eagles this season in the NFC East. The Eagles are going to win the NFC East, and the Eagles are going to have a great chance to make the NFC Championship, and the Eagles are going to make the Super Bowl if it's not Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, I said it. I really think so. Those are my 2 teams in the NFC that I really feel most confident about moving forward. Let's see here. Christian Huezo Sanchez, Falcons 11-5. See, that's a little bit more, as long as everything goes right with that roster, you could kind of say you're hoping that the Panthers and the Falcons can somehow, some way, just beat up on the Bucs. Same thing with the Saints. Just boop, 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 like Frank the Tank, right? Boop, boop, like in old school. Just beat up the Bucs. Just stomp a moat hole into them, right? And then somehow you can overachieve and get to 11-5. But I just don't know if the Falcons are going to be able to go 11-5. You know what I mean? I just don't know if they have that in them because of the health of their guys, right? Keanu O'Neal, coming off the injury. Deion Jones coming off the injury. Devontae Freeman coming off the injury. So there's question marks. You know what I mean? They'll be better than last year, but it's like, what are you going to get though? Are you going to be 8-8? Or are you going to be 11-5? Somewhere in between? It's going to be tough. Javon Wright, NFC South. And then obviously it just went up real quick because everyone's commenting. So let's see here. Javon says, NFC South, Saints 13-3, Panthers 11-5 because you're a Panther fan, right? You got to hope the best for your team. Falcons 10-6, Bucks 7-9. What do you think, Ryan? I don't think the Saints will win 13 games. I think for them, 12-4 kind of sounds right to me. Panthers or Falcons could win 10 or 11 games. It's possible, but it's too early to predict on which team is going to win more games than the other and out of those 2 teams. You know what I mean? Cam Newton's shoulder really concerns me, and a lot of the guys on the defense for the Falcons concern me. So, and then as far as the Bucs are concerned, I mean, you don't really know what you're getting out of them, winning 5 games and 4 games and 5 games year in and year out. With Arians, you should be able to get a couple more wins, so like a 7-9, could be possible, especially with a guy like Devin White now on the roster. I would tweak the wins just a little bit, but that one is a little bit more realistic. You know what I mean? But also, too, you got to remember, if the Saints go 13-3 or 12-4, there is a chance where the Panthers, go 8-8, or 9-7, and the Falcons might go 10-6 or 11-5. We're going to have to kind of see how the guys look, as we're going into preseason. Hopefully no one gets injured, and then we're moving forward. But, I like Brian Burns. I like Kuechly. I like Run CMC. I like the options of the guys, Samuel, DJ Moore. There's opportunity there, but really what's going to come down to is if you're a playoff team or not is how Cam Newton looks. If Cam Newton is 100%, that 11-5 could be realistic. If he's not 100%, you're not going to go 11-5. You're not going to go 10-6, and the best you're probably going to do with a kind of a halfway Cam Newton is like 9 wins. And that's like hoping that he's halfway or getting close to 100% for the whole season. And, if he goes out for a couple games, then you're probably going to be under 9-7. It just depends on his health. It's going to be a real big thing moving forward. Let's see here. Elliot Evans, running backs. He says one Kamara because he's a Saints fan. You guys are such homers, but it is what it is. You're gonna love your guys. When you're a homer of your guys. You said Kamara 1, AK-41, the alien, right? Zeke 2, Gurley 3, Saquon 4. And that list is incorrect. And you know why? Because you don't have Le'Veon Bell on that list. Le'Veon Bell is going to be better than Todd Gurley this year. So if I was going to go on that list, if we're talking about who's going to – and then Run CMC's not on that list either. I mean, you have 4 there, but, it all depends on if you're talking fantasy or just overall, you know what I mean? But Saquon obviously would have a pretty big year with all those wide receivers being hurt. They're going to have to be able to give him the rock as much as possible. So his stats will get inflated, kind of like Run CMC's did towards the end because Cam couldn't throw the ball downfield, right? But Gurley, I don't think that he'll be a top 4 running back. You could swap out Gurley and put Le'Veon Bell in there. But I kind of have this feeling that Le'Veon Bell, he might end up being the best running back in the league this season. It wouldn't really shock me if he wins the rushing title. That's how much I think of Le'Veon going into this season. I mean, there was a time where it was Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley as the 2 best running backs, period, in the league for quite a while, right? And they can do both. Almost all these running backs that you have in here can do both. But, I like Kamara a lot. He's probably my favorite running back in the league right now. Zeke, we don't know if he's going to, get on the team and when he's going to hold out or when he's coming in. Gurley has the knees, but it's a decent list. I'll give you that. But, I definitely would, consider Run CMC in there, either over Gurley or definitely Le'Veon. I think people are sleeping on Le'Veon a lot. And like I said, I think that he's going to have a great year. Let's see here. Ruiz, LA Rams. We got another hot take by a homer, right? And rooting for your team and backing them all the way to the end, right? He says, I see the Saints not making the playoffs. Breeze got father time in his door, not Brady. But that's incorrect because the Saints are going to win the division, right? As bad as you don't want to hear that because more than likely the Rams and the Saints are going to play each other in the playoffs, probably to make the NFC Championship game or go to the Super Bowl, and that's big facts. The Saints have a great roster. They're not going anywhere, okay? You know what I mean? Father Time isn't going to hit Breeze. They're going to win the division. They're going to win 11 to 13 games. That's big facts. They are winning the NFC South, okay? Rams should still be great too. It's not like the Rams are going to fall off. The Rams will win the NFC West by default, right? But you got to see that those players and that rivalry, that might get sparked up again, okay? Let's see, Zeke, Saquon, Gurley, Kamara. And that's from a Giants fan. You can see if you got Zeke at 1, right? At that point, where is Le'Veon Bell? Where's the respect for Le'Veon Bell? Le'Veon Bell more than likely doesn't have, I got to see what Gurley's knees look like. If Gurley was 100%, they would have took Henderson in like the 3rd round. You know what I mean? I hope he comes back 100% and he's good. I hope so because it makes the league better when Gurley's healthy for the Rams. You know what I mean? It makes them so explosive as an offense with the offense, right? But question marks. I'm concerned. I don't know. Le'Veon's going to have a better year than Gurley. Kamara's going to have a better year than Gurley. Saquon's going to have a better year than Gurley. Zeke's going to have a better year than Gurley. Run CMC's probably going to have a better year than Gurley. But after those guys, Gurley has a chance to kind of be in that 6 to 10 range. He should probably be able to compete with like Joe Mixon and the second tier of running backs after that. But, there's a top tier that doesn't have any question marks or injuries. And then you got an elite, the best running back for the last 2 years with this knee issue. Right? So it's going to slide him back a little bit. It's not saying that he sucks anymore, but we just don't know what his knees are going to look like. Let's see here. Oh, you guys are funny. Let's see here. Should I trade Gurley for Bell? Yes, I would. I don't know if you guys are playing fantasy, but definitely. I think Le'Veon Bell, I wouldn't steer you wrong. You know what I mean? Le'Veon Bell is one of those guys that, like, I really truly feel he could win the rushing title this year. I think he may not be in shape right away since he took a year off, football, but as far as conditioning, he's a patient runner, right? So he knows when to hit the holes and be very patient, right? Most patient running back in the league. He can catch out of the backfield with the best of them, right? So he'll be able to do both, right? PPR league or standard. But definitely, Le'Veon Bell to me is a top 5 option at running back, and I would slide Gurley back a few spots. You know what I mean? You're going to go. Most people in their fantasy leagues, from what you've been seeing on NFL Network and other people, they got Saquon or Run CMC at 1 or 2, right? After that, a lot of them are going to have, Zeke and Kamara, right? And then after that, usually Le'Veon, and then you'll have a cluster of the other running backs. But, I mean, I could see Le'Veon Bell leapfrogging almost all those guys and having just as good of a season, if not better than a lot of those guys. And, I mean, there's not really separating a lot between the top 5 running backs in the league, because almost all of them can run, be patient, score a lot of touchdowns, catch screen passes, help their team out, How does the Jets O-line look this year? It's not too bad. They're going to really rely on their defense, with C.J. Mosley and Jamal Adams, and then obviously having Le'Veon Bell there. To me, Le'Veon Bell is such a good running back that even if he had a shitty line, like when the Lions had, Barry Sanders, and he had a shitty line and he dominated, I still feel Le'Veon Bell is such a talented running back that if they had the worst line in football, right, like it was like the Arizona Cardinals line, Le'Veon Bell still would dominate. That's my personal opinion. Certain guys are going to be able to break out, It's like if Zeke didn't have the Dallas Cowboy O-line, would he still dominate? Yeah, he would. You know what I mean? He rips off some of those bigger gains because you got 3 Pro Bowl linemen when healthy there with Frederick and Smith and et cetera, right? But I do like Le'Veon Bell. I like kind of where they're going. I could see the Jets making a run for a wild card. Will they get it? We'll see. The Bills will be on their heels too. So, yeah, Pittsburgh's O-line is one of the best, and it has been for a long time, right? But Le'Veon is a freakish talent. You go back to the tape and look at what Le'Veon Bell and Todd Gurley in the last couple years. I mean, for a while, those were the best running backs, period. There's room for other guys to move up and down, right? But, I mean, if I had a choice, if I was drafting in fantasy between, question mark Todd Gurley, which we hope that he's good and 100%, but we don't know, or a guy that's healthy and good to go and ready to go in camp, you're going to want to go with the safe bet, not take a risk. Because, I mean, if Todd Gurley ends up being better than what we thought, right, then that's great. But what happens if he's not? You know what I mean? He only has like 10 carries a game. You're not going to win your fantasy league with 10 carries. He's going to be splitting time. I do like Henderson a lot, so Ruiz. You know what I mean? Like, that Rams team, they're deep. Cooper Kupp coming back, best friend. Huge. That's going to be such a big impact. And like I said, Henderson is Henderson is so good, Ruiz, that I'm letting you know right now. I've watched a lot of tape on him in college. I watch tape on everybody. I'm like a maniac. You know what I mean? I watch tape on a lot of people. I'm telling you right now, if Todd Gurley doesn't play one snap this season and Henderson plays the whole season, you guys are still making the playoffs, right? And you're winning the division. So if that tells you anything, right, based on how I feel, on how good I think Henderson can be for that roster, that's it right there. You know what I mean? Todd Gurley was amazing. Let's pray for him. You know what I mean? But I really think Henderson is special. And like I said, he will be able to do things that will surprise you. But as far as a 1-2 punch, because they're going to limit his carries, it's going to work out really well. It's going to keep him healthy, moving forward to the best of his ability, as long as he doesn't tear an ACL or MCL or PCL. But you're going to win the NFC West. That's by default. You guys will win probably 10 to 12 games, kind of similar to the Saints and the Eagles, for the top dogs. The main division winner, that's the question mark, right, is going to be the NFC North. That's the only question mark, right? From if you do your research and you look there, there's no one that can openly say with confidence, right, that the Bears are going to win. With Vic Fangio leaving to go to Denver, right? Or the Vikings are going to take the next step and they're going to win. because Dalvin Cook is back and Kirk Cousins is going to lead them there, even though he's inconsistent. Or Aaron Rodgers is going to get there because the defense is the best it's been probably in 5 or 6 years for Green Bay. You just don't know. Aaron Rodgers' health is a concern. Kirk Cousins' reliability and accuracy is a concern, right? And the Bears' offense, right, is a concern. Nagy is great as a head coach, but do you trust Trubisky fully? I don't. You know what I mean? So that's the big question. You know, and then you go in the other division, you go New England by default. You know what I mean? And then I would probably have Houston and Jacksonville probably nipping at the heels. And then obviously Tennessee with Mariota and Tannehill at the bottom. And then obviously I got Kansas City, at the top with the Chargers right behind them. And both those teams will get into the playoffs. And then obviously Denver and the Raiders, I think, will play better than people are expecting. Do I think both those teams are going to make the playoffs? Denver and the Raiders? No, right? But they'll be better, right? And once the Raiders move to Las Vegas, they will make a playoff appearance. But they need a few years to stack the talent, But if you're looking for a guy on the Raiders to dominate, Josh Jacobs, the running back. He is going to start week 1. He is going to be one of the breakout guys, kind of like Sony Michel was for the Patriots. He's going to be that breakout guy for the Raiders. I feel that, moving forward, it gives them the best running back they've had since Darren McFadden. This guy is a gamer. He's going to really help open up that offense, to kind of relieve the pressure for Carr so he doesn't fuck up all the time. And that's my personal opinion. But that's kind of how I see the season going. Chiefs, Chargers, right? Or you can go Chargers, Chiefs. But, they're going to be separated by, literally one game. So it just probably depends on who, if they play each other, if one team can win both or if they're going to split. But realistically, they'll probably split. Each team will probably win at home, The only other question mark besides the NFC North with Vikings, Bears, and Green Bay, you could argue is the AFC South. That's the one that you could probably go with a couple teams. It could be, the Colts, in my opinion, are the best well-rounded team, right? But if something happens with Andrew Luck and he's injured again, like he is right now, right, then it could be Nick Foles and Jacksonville getting that defense back to what it was a couple years ago when they played in the AFC Championship game with Bortles against the Patriots. Or it could be a team like the Texans, even though their O-line is bootios, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson, J.J. Watt. You need to get Clowney in camp, pay him some money, but that could be another team that could win 10 or 11 games. But those are the question mark divisions. All the other divisions are already kind of played out. You know what I mean? NFC West, Seattle will be the team right behind the Rams, probably around 9 or 10 wins, right? But Niners will get better. Cardinals will win a few more games. But, these teams that are in third place, it may take a couple years for you to get into that second place spot and fight for a wild card. It's not going to happen, right? But you will get some bottom feeders that go from worst to first, at least one, because it happens every season. So you just got to look at who was the worst team, right, and who's going to make the jump. Will Tampa Bay surprise everyone and go from worst to first? Very unlikely, right? But this is the NFL. You just never know, right? Will the Lions go from worst to first? Very unlikely. But could it happen? It could. Probably the only team that's not going to go 100% from worst to first is the Cardinals with Kyler Murray. That's not going to happen. They'll win more games, but that's almost like a fact. But some of these other rosters, things are possible. Worst to first is going to happen somewhere. But I'm super excited, about moving forward. John Roberts, Bills will have the number 1 defense this year. Fight me, Bills Mafia. I like the Bills defense. I've been looking at a lot of the things that you've been sending me, John, on Twitter and whatnot. I love that. I love it. And you think, hey, if I'm annoying you, just let me know. No, man. We're all sport fanatics. You know what I mean? The amount of reading that I do and tape that I watch. Imagine you, John, on what you normally do for just your team. I do that, right? But for all the teams. So it's sometimes I don't sleep very much, or I'm at work and I should be trying to talk to business owners about Verizon, business, phone, internet, and TV, but I'm thinking about the Bills defense, or, I'm thinking about the 49ers linebacking core, or if I'm, thinking about the Eagles depth at running back. These are the things that go on in my mind, throughout the day, thinking about show topics that I want to talk about moving forward. You know what I mean? It's an exciting time. The college football is going to be coming out. I'll go over kind of like a Heisman breakdown. We already kind of know who the ones that more likely are going to be, but there'll be a couple sleepers that are in there that you can sprinkle in. But I'm excited, man. We're getting close. We got just a few hours away, and we're going to get there. And just to let you guys know, the ones that are in the room, thank you for donating, first off. Movie Gurus, Hell Lord, The Bromance is Real, and Damon, Piaquidio, baby, right? I am going live tomorrow, play-by-play, reactions, going to do it. I am going to be on here. I hope Marcus is going to come tomorrow. I know he's got Pop Warner football for his son where he got his pads today. So, normally we like to do the videos together, right? But I got the equipment over here at my place now, so that way I can record more and connect with you guys. Because if he's, busy and then I just don't do anything, I feel like I'm being lazy. So, if it's I'm doing the extra grinding, I'm doing the extra videos or going live, I'll go live with him. Right, but if he ends up getting busy, I'll still do it. I can go solo. I can do it. I can be the Tony Romo and the Jim Nantz. You know what I mean? I can get it done, and we'll have fun, and we can go over and kind of evaluate and check out what we're going to be able to see with the Broncos and the Falcons. And I feel that both of those teams are more similar than you think. They're both probably going to be third-place teams, with the Falcons having a chance to be a second-place team in their division, and maybe a wild card is in their future. Broncos, I don't feel that confident because obviously you got the Chiefs and the Chargers, much better, But we get to see kind of the development of the guys behind Joe Flacco. And if Joe Flacco goes to Joe Wacko, in the regular season, then you got guys behind him like Drew Lock. We're going to have to see what he looks like moving forward. But I'm not sure if any guy that's on the Bronco roster right now is the right one moving forward for the future. Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, you have some weapons, Sutton. You got some guys, on offense, the Noah Fant, at tight end. So there's some potential there. But Von Miller needs help. Von Miller, Bradley Chubb, Chris Harris, they need help on the other side of the ball. And you got to be able to plug more players in. You had Elway, then you went Peyton Manning. You're winning Super Bowls. But then once you drop off and you don't get a guy that's a Hall of Famer or like a very good quarterback, you're going to struggle, especially in that division for years to come with the Chiefs and the Chargers. Let's see here. John Roberts, are you leaving, my guy? It's good to see you. I'll be here tomorrow, so I'm not sure if you're working. I imagine you are. You're in that car sales, grind, you know what I mean? Sales grind like me. But I'll be here. So since you like linebackers, do Matt Milano highlight reel. Hey, he's underrated. Later, man. I'll see you tomorrow. Let's see here. John Turner says Super Bowl prediction, like his early Super Bowl prediction. God, that's tough. You know what I mean? Because I already have like my teams that I like. So if I just kind of start to just break off the teams that I like Saints, and then I like the Eagles right behind them for NFC. Okay, and then if I had to choose another team, I'd go Rams. So Saints, Eagles, Rams. Okay, AFC. Patriots by default. Not that, I got to see what Tom's going to do, but you can never count them out, right? And then you got Chiefs, Chargers, and then the sleeper, the Colts, right? So the Colts may be a couple years away, but they could surprise people, depending on Luck's, injury and if he can keep himself healthy. But if I had to choose on who I think, moving forward, I kind of like Saints and Chiefs. I mean, if I'm just going to say it right now, just like, but if there's any type of slippage, right, I could see Eagles, Chiefs. You know what I mean? I mean, you can always say Patriots, you know what I mean? And they could get there again, but with no Gronk. But they got N'Keal Harry, so, it's time for maybe some new teams, but you can't be too premature about it. But the way that the Chargers are building, the defense and getting better, right? Mahomes, I feel, is one of the best quarterbacks I've ever seen, period, ever. Chargers defense is better than the Chiefs, right? But the offense with Melvin Gordon, not getting things situated just yet kind of makes me nervous. Same thing with Zeke and the Cowboys. If you don't have your stars in camp and ready to go in preseason and ready for the regular, there's going to be a little doubt there. But if I had to say like my first choice, I'll go Saints, Chiefs. And then if any type of slippage with any type of injury with Breeze, then my next one could be maybe like an Eagles, Chiefs. And then obviously, you have those other teams that are all in the mix. But those are my contenders, those like 7 teams. So if you're not one of those 7 teams, realistically, you're not going to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, this year. You have to be one of those 7. Saints, Eagles, Rams, Patriots, Chiefs, Chargers, Colts. If you're not one of those 7, I mean, it could happen, definitely could happen, but we have to kind of wait and see how it all plays out. But I'm excited for tomorrow. I'll do a live stream, so make sure you have your notifications on if you guys want to join in. But yeah, I'm going to have to probably call it a little bit short unless you guys have some questions that you want to go over with me, which I definitely can. I want to try to maybe get one more little workout in since I got one a little bit about an hour ago, an hour and a half ago. But if I can get one more workout in and maybe do some more research, because I want to make sure I watch more training camp tape and do some more reading so that way I can be fresh and ready for you guys. The Eagles are the number 1 threat in my eyes to your Rams, I would assume is what you're saying. Yeah, they got a deep roster. And I think I wouldn't sleep on the Saints either. I think they're going to be very, very good. Those 3 teams, Saints, Eagles, right? Carson Wentz is the question, right? I think he's going to be fine. Todd Gurley is a question, but with Henderson there, you guys will be fine. Saints, they don't really have any, big issues. Sheldon Rankins, once he comes back from that injury, they'll be fine with him or without him. But if he comes back nice, and fresh legs, any of those 3 teams can make that deep, deep run. Very, very well coached, all 3 teams. They got good pieces on offense, defense, kicker, special teams, good assistant coaches. You got to have all that, to make the run. And then obviously, you got New England's New England, but if you take them out of the mix, the way that the Colts are being built, they're getting closer and closer to being that team that will be able to make a few AFC championship games. How many Super Bowl appearances will they be able to make in the next 6 years? That's debatable, depending on how long Brady and Belichick stay around. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts make 1 Super Bowl, in the next 6 years. AFC championship game, I could see them making 1 or 2. I like the direction of the way the team is going. And then as far as the Chargers and the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs have a little bit more longevity because Mahomes is younger. Obviously, Phillip Rivers is a little older. Chiefs offense is better. Chargers defense is better on that end of the ball. But Phillip Rivers is going to need to score points, and Melvin Gordon needs to be there. If Melvin Gordon goes out, they have no chance. They need him healthy to make the run. And that's big, big facts. But those are kind of the teams that I feel. 6 Inc., my guy. I'll see you tomorrow. John Roberts, I'm back because I forgot to say. Oh, he's like, hey, I was going to leave. Orion, I was going to leave, but I came back because I forgot to say Ed Oliver is going to eat Brady. Is he going to get sack lunches? Yum, 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 yum. Sack lunch. It's 12 noon. What time is it? It's time for a sack lunch. Yum, yum, yum. I hope so. And he's going to pick his teeth with his bones. You're welcome, rest of the league. You know what, though? And John Roberts, I'm really excited to see Ed Oliver's progression and development. If he can turn into Warren Sapp, Aaron Donald, 2.0, that is going to be really exciting, and that's going to be able to take you guys to the next level. 6 Inc., see you later, my guy. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Elliot Evans, try to be here tomorrow. Like I said, I think the game is on, I believe, around 5. So I'll be on for 3 hours. So it'll be extended. I'm going to be on for the whole game, and we can all talk football and enjoy the game together. Have the TV on. You can have it on mute and have me on, or if you want to, have it on, low and, have me on or the TV on, however you guys want to do it. But, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that. But, Elliot, good to see you. Skull. King Krusty. He said, who wins the NFC North? That's a tough question. That was like I was saying with some of the other people that were in the room. That's the toughest division, right, for me to pick that's going to win this year. Because for me, Saints, NFC South, right? NFC West, Rams, right? It's just as far as winners, right? NFC East, Eagles, right? NFC North, don't know. And I read a lot, watch a lot of tape. Could be Vikings, right? Could be the Packers. It could be the Bears. The only team I can really feel confident saying it's not going to be is the Lions, but I think the Lions will be better this season. Right? And then as you go to the flip side, Patriots, AFC East, right? AFC North, I think Pittsburgh, but Cleveland will be better, and I could see Cleveland making the playoffs as a wild card, right? AFC West, I got the Chiefs, and then Chargers getting into the playoffs as a wild card right behind them, maybe a 1-game difference, right? And then the AFC South is probably the second hardest to pick right off the bat, but my front runner and my gut tells me the Colts. But then I feel that the Texans and Jacksonville and Tennessee will be all very close to each other. Any of those 4 teams in the AFC South could win 10 games. It's just kind of hard to pick on who it would be. But if I look at coaching, GM, roster depth, right? Offense, defense, the Lions, I like the Colts. So really the only one that is the question mark for me, right, is going to be that division. Vikings, right? Dalvin Cook, he has to show out. Kirk Cousins has to be more accurate and build a better relationship with Kyle Rudolph and get him more involved, right? The line should be better this season, and the defense should be great. So they could leapfrog everyone in the division, go 11-5 and win. I could see it, right? Packers defense has gotten much better. It's probably the best it's been in 5 to 6 years. Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones. Who? Aaron Jones. They could do something. I could see them. And then the Bears were the front runner. They won it last year. They're going to scale back a little bit on the offensive side of the ball, but the defensive side of the ball, they're elite. So depending on how great the defense plays will determine if the Bears win it again or if it's going to be a new team. But that's the hardest division to pick right now, a winner. Like, you know, usually the other teams, you kind of see the depth and you easily can say, boom, 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 this team, this team, this team. Marcus is in the room. He says HTTR. We're talking about, Marcus, we're talking about divisional winners off the top, right? So the hardest division winner to pick off the top right now is the NFC North, right? NFC East, Eagles. NFC West, Rams, right? NFC South, Saints. NFC North, just right off the top, what does your gut tell you? You can't pick one. You know what I mean? And then you go to the AFC, right? East, Patriots, right? AFC West, Chiefs, with Chargers right behind them. AFC South, Colts. AFC North, I got Pittsburgh with maybe Cleveland right behind them. Damon P. Aquadio says Bears, but do you really trust Trubisky? I like Khalil Mack. I love that defense. You know, they added HaHa over there, so, I mean, even though they lost Amos to the Packers, but, I mean, do you really feel Trubisky, you know, over, you pick that defense over Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins and what they got going on as a complete team there, and with Dalvin Cook, you know, being back? That's tough. Packers, Bears, or Vikings? Yeah, but which one, though, Marcus? That's the question. Hardest division to pick right off the top, because, you know what I mean? Like, you can't really be confident of a team winning the division in 2 years. And I'm not sold on Trubisky outplaying Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins all season long, right? I like Montgomery. I like Cohen, right? But the offensive weapons at wide receiver and tight end are thin. So I'm not really that confident. The defense is going to like almost have to score points for him like every other game to really have him win the division to me. You know what I mean? Because I think Rodgers will play great. The defense is really going to show out, I feel, for the Packers and show people something. Like, you know, normally the Packers defense is kind of like average, right? But it could be like considered good this season. Not great like the Bears, but good, right? And then the Vikings have a well-rounded team. Maybe the most well-rounded team in the NFC North when healthy with everyone. It's tough. Tough one. Marcus says NFC South with 3 Fs. Bucks, you heard it here first, drops the mic, 100. Well, at least someone has some belief. And then watch, they ended up, wouldn't it be something else if the Bucks actually ended up winning? I mean, someone has to go from worst to first. I just don't think it would be the Bucks, but wouldn't that be crazy? The Bucks go like, I mean, the only way the Bucks would go like 10-6 and win in the division or 11-5 is there would have to be some detrimental season-ending injuries to all 3 teams. Cam, Kamara, Matt Ryan, and then somehow, some way, Jameis, you know, throws just enough, you know, and Devin White dominates on defense with Levante David, and they get like to 10 somehow. But I mean, I don't know if they could just simply outplay all those other 3 teams. But I do feel that the Bucks playing the Falcons and Panthers this season is going to be a lot closer than people think. And then I think that the Saints, you know, might have the Bucks number. But it wouldn't surprise me if I split with Atlanta or split with Carolina this year, and that's big facts. You know, I think that there's a chance. You know, splitting with the Saints, it could happen, you know, but it would have to be at home because if it's in the Dome, I don't think you're going to win there. So I trust the Bears defense. I trust Cohen. I trust Nagy and Montgomery, the new running back. Damon, I don't know if you've seen tape on him. He looks really good. he's going to be the starter day one. Cohen, third down back, screen kind of guy, put him in the slot. But I'm just worried about the wide receivers. What kind of depth do they have? He says, can't trust the Packers, the new coach, or not, with LaFleur. He's underrated, though. Marcus knows about him. He was in that organization, and they had Sean McVay. So, Redskins usually have a lot of nice coaching pieces that move on and are successful. And it can't get any worse than it did with the old coach, right? Even though Rodgers has got the ego, at some point you got to be able to make it work, you would think, right? Samuel J., what it do, my guy? Panthers keep pounding. Oh, boy, with the creator of the logo in the corner there, Mr. Samuel J. What it do, my guy? Haven't seen you in a couple days. We got the first game tomorrow, preseason. Me and Marcus hopefully will be live. If he can't stay for the whole game, I'll be live here the whole game. Come join your boy, and let's watch some preseason football. It might not be the most entertaining game with all the starters, but at least it's football. So, Buccaneers gave up McCoy to your homies. Yeah. We'll see. I think he's going to have a great season. I'm rooting for him. I hope he does great for you guys, just not against the Bucs. But every other team, he dominates. But you know what? His best games are probably going to be against his former team, against the Bucs, because he's going to, try to just knock Jameis out and play great. So, Rams, Falcons, Bears, Eagles, Niners, Cowboys. No, no. Maybe you'll have a couple teams in there, but yeah. The NFL is wild, right? Eagles, Soldier Boy voice. Eagles? You know it, Marcus. Yeah, Marcus, so I went over a list. So check this out, my guy. So I went over, we went over the top 100. I don't know if you saw the top 5, but initially it went at 5, I went Todd Gurley, 4, Mahomes, if you didn't watch it, right? 3, Khalil Mack, 2, Drew Brees, 1, Aaron Donald, right? Which is wrong. Should have went Mahomes 1, Aaron Donald 2, or Aaron Donald 1, Mahomes 2. But in my opinion, even though I'm a defensive guy, I would go Mahomes 1, right? He won the MVP. And then Aaron Donald 2, Khalil Mack 3, Drew Brees 4, Todd Gurley 5. So I don't know how they got it so wrong, but they did. But I also did 10 generating the most buzz in training camp, right? Damon need that for Skins games in Oregon. Sunday ticket. Does anyone else? Me and Marcus used to have Sunday ticket when we lived together. That was probably the best year of our lives, huh? Remember that? Downstairs, right? We have one big TV there, and then our roommates had one in their bedroom, right? And then you got it recorded? Oh, okay. I just spoiled it for you there. But yeah, they went over obviously the top 10, but they broke them down top 5 and then 6 to 10 in an hour each. So number 5 was Todd Gurley. Number 4, Patrick Mahomes. Now everyone just started going crazy messaging me. They're like, let's go live. We have to talk about Mahomes being at 4, which is ridiculous. 3, right, Khalil Mack. 2, Drew Brees, right? And then 1 was Aaron Donald based off his sack count and sack total. You know what I mean? So, the only other order that you could do for me is Aaron Donald 1 and then Mahomes 2, if you want to give him that credit for getting those sacks, at the D tackle position. But he didn't win NFL MVP, Aaron Donald. If he did, right, then you can probably justify him at 1, right? But I would go Mahomes 1, Donald 2, 3, Khalil Mack, right? 4, Breeze, even though he slowed down after the Cowboys game, and then Todd Gurley 5 because he got injured kind of towards the end of the season. They had Tom Brady at 6. First time Brady has been out of the top 5 since they made the list. So, Damon P. Aquadio. Yeah, dude, Sunday ticket. I wish I had it. But top 10 generating the most buzz in training camp. I was going over Kyler Murray, how great he looks in camp. I was watching NFL Network on at work today, trying to do my job and multitask. He looks great. Jamal Adams looks like he's taking the next step. The best person that I've seen in camp, Odell Beckham Jr. He really is showing out. I think that he's gonna just take off. Another one, Kalen Ballage, right? For the Dolphins. I don't know what he ate, Marcus. I told him I don't know what he ate in his cereal, but Kalen Ballage looks like he's just a new player. He's just got a new, life of football. Deshaun Jackson looks great for the Eagles. Fly, Eagles, fly. Curtis Samuel, right? Looks great for the Panthers. Mark Andrews for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson has a nice connection, with him. And then 2 linebackers that are sleepers. Lorenzo Carter for the Giants, right? And Jelani Tavai for the Lions. Those are guys to kind of look out for. You know what I mean? But I wanted to go over, just, give them topics. And then obviously we got Broncos Falcons Hall of Fame game tomorrow. But, yeah, it's going to be crazy. I can't wait. It's definitely the top 10 was not in the right order. But Samuel J. said Donald, Mahomes, Breeze, Gurley, Mack. Well, we can't really discredit Samuel J. what Mack did. I mean, a guy to get a sack and a pick and a forced fumble and all that in like one game, Mack played better to me the whole season than Gurley and Breeze did, overall, right? He took the Bears to the playoffs, right? Without Mack, no playoffs. That's my opinion, But Donald gained those sacks. That's the only one that you can flip-flop with me and Mahomes, And Breeze kind of slowed down a little bit. Amazing season. Don't get me wrong. I love Drew Brees, but, Curtis Samuel and Moore are killing it. Yeah, I've been watching a lot of tape. Samuel especially. His route running looks great. He has more confidence this season moving forward. So, yeah, Khalil Mack is a beast for sure. I mean, I'm just saying as far as like what we saw last year, Aaron Donald was the best defensive player, Khalil Mack, and then right behind Khalil Mack, probably like a Von Miller type, guy behind him. But Mack is not that far behind, Aaron Donald, but just we just have never seen like a D tackle get like 20 or 20 plus sacks. It's like unheard of. So, I mean, him to be at number 1, I see, but having Mahomes at 4 when he won the MVP was kind of disrespectful, I feel. You know what I mean? But I don't know. The players make the list, so it's their list. But, I think that I'm going to go and get some more research in. I'm going to go watch some more tape. I'm going to maybe even get a quick workout in. So, Movie Guru, Hellord247 with the bromance, Damon Piacquadio. Thank you so much for the donations, my guys. If you guys are wanting another video to watch, if you guys haven't watched it already, did a little Michael Thomas video, obviously a little tribute to his 5-year extension with the 100 milli. So if you guys want to watch that, you guys can watch that and, get ready for football for tomorrow. Marcus says Julio need more stamps this year, meaning TDs. Yeah, he does. That's why I just kind of criticize him too much. I mean, he can do everything on the field. He's got great awareness. He's got great hands. He can receive with the best of them. He gets the yards. He gets the receptions. But, I mean, a guy that's built like that, like a Megatron, he built very similar with only 6 TDs. He has so many seasons where he gets under 10. It's just disappointing. But, it is what it is. So, Marcus, my guy, I am going to be out. I'm going to go get some more research in before tomorrow. Everybody in the room, enjoy your night. Prep yourself with snacks and beer and whatever you're going to have. And we got Broncos Falcons Hall of Fame game tomorrow. Make sure you watch it. And I got one question for you. Who talks sports like us? Marcus and myself, the Northwest Sports Fanatics. You guys have a great night. Thank you for the donations. And we'll be back very shortly. And I'm out.